How long?
Jennifer Diepstratten helps the most successful coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs to craft and sell extremely desirable offers. Jennifer has 20 years experience in sales, relationship coaching, and communication studies, so she understands what it really takes to inspire people to take decisive action. As a result of her expertise, she sold over $14 million with her sales conversion system in biotech, medical diagnostics, and personal development coaching, and has created $1 million heart centered company as the founder and CEO of High Ticket Sales. I'm one of the beneficiaries of all that she offers through High Ticket Sales. Her husband, Peter, joins us here today so they can share the benefits and the challenges of maintaining a vibrant marriage while building an enormous business and parenting three beautiful boys. Do you want to start by telling us where you met or how you met?
Sure. Thanks for having us, Nancy. We actually met at a personal development course many years ago. Actually, we're coming up on 16 years of our first date, 16-year anniversary of our first date. And I was in a leadership training program. I was volunteering for this organization. I spent, probably 30 hours a week volunteering because I loved the transformation that they created for my life. I had tripled my income. I had more time. So I was there volunteering. And one of the things that I had told one of my friends in that organization, in that personal development group, is I said, I am going to meet my husband. And this is what it's going to be like. And this is what it's going to feel like. And I'm going to do it by the end of this class. It was like a 6-month class. And we were at this event one evening that was hosted by this organization. And my friend says to me, do you know Peter Deepstratten? And I said, no, I've never seen him before. And he goes, he's the most powerful man in the room. And I,
That caught you.
and I was like, really? And so then what happened? You want to tell her what happened next?
Well, we sat down together and started talking, and by the end of the evening, I wrote my name and number on a piece of paper and handed it to her. I said, "Here's my name and number. I am so intrigued by you. Ball's in your court. You should call me."
Gosh, what a powerful move. That was a
Yeah.
move, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I had his number in my purse on a post-it note, and I remember telling my mom, I got to tell him that I want to have kids. And my mom said, well, don't scare him off. I'm like, well, I don't have time to wait. So that was our first phone call. I told him, I said, are we talking about going out on a date? And he said, well, date is that, it makes a lot of people get weird around that word. I guess you should tell it.
Yeah, and I said, I really just want to get to know you. You're fascinating to me. And she said,
Well, I don't want to go out on a date if you don't want to have kids because I want to have kids.
Right off the bat, let's establish the ground rules.
right off the
Well,
bat,
it was I had written like, this is what it's going to be like. This is who he's going to be like. This is what I'm going to feel like. He's going to want to have kids. Like I knew, I knew I didn't have time to waste.
yep. And I said, oh, I love children, and there has to be a lot of conversations that need to happen before that can happen. So
Right.
we started talking, and we haven't stopped talking since.
I have a granddaughter whose first date with her current husband laid the ground rules out like that. And I thought, that is so smart. Let's just be upfront about what we really want. And if you're not a good fit, you're not a good fit.
I think it takes time to know yourself, in that way and to be the kind of person who can stand for what they want, I just think it takes something, but awesome when you do figure that out.
Oh gosh, I'm so impressed. I love the way you got started. So my understanding, and I could be wrong, so correct me. My understanding is when you got married, the relationship got to that point, Jennifer was the primary face of the business, and you, Peter, were the home body, the caretaker, the child, uh, the person that took care of the children. How did that work for your marriage? It's a role reversal, typically.
Yes, yes, it is. It's unusual. And also that we work together.
Yes.
Our business together too.
Yeah, we're in our business together. I do a lot of stuff in the business that, behind the scenes, and we're constantly around each other 24/7, 365. And a lot of people are like, don't ever go in business with your spouse or whatever. And we are, and it works beautiful.
Do you have any trouble differentiating between this is business time and this is personal time?
Yes.
Not really.
Not really? Yes.
No, I think we're pretty good.
Well, we definitely differentiate, you know.
We say like we're gonna go out and we're gonna, you know, talk about other stuff or let's not talk about
Yeah, we
business
do we
for the kids.
we do date nights. Otherwise, we talk a lot about business and stuff. So, the relationship, it takes something. If you want to be in a relationship, you have to spend time with this person and be in the relationship. So we consciously make sure we take time to be in relationship with each other, like romantic, not just business.
Yeah, I have to take off my wife hat and take off my CEO hat and put on my wife hat. And I think, I mean, part of what makes it so fun for us is that, and so workable, is that we're both up to the same thing. Years ago, we created our guiding star, like our North Star guiding principle. And so we both play an integral role and we have lots of roles, inside of what we're up to with the kids and our finances and the business. And so we're continuously talking to each other because both of us have to be fully on the team, otherwise it doesn't work.
Otherwise, it wouldn't work. You're right. So I've gotten the impression, Peter, although I haven't seen you on camera very much, I've gotten the impression that you do a lot of behind the scenes support of Jennifer and what she's doing as the face of the business. So what kind of roles does that entail?
Uh, I don't think they're everything. Um, we created empowering partnership when we first met.
Yes.
That's who we are for each other. So I'm here to make sure that Jennifer is living the fullest, best expression of her life that she can. And that includes everything from we were living in city in San Diego and we were taking vacations and once a week, 1 week out of every year, we would take a vacation. We'd go up into the Sequoias. And the first thing Jen did was get out of the car and she'd walk over to a tree, hug it, and sit there and cry for half an hour because she was just centering herself and just getting grounded with nature again. And I came to her one day and said, that's just not right. Why do we only do that 1 day a week,
Once a year.
once a year? Let's get into let's see what we can do about getting you closer to the forest. And that's when I found this property up here in Idaho and we picked up everything and moved out here. And now we're literally 30 miles from town in the forest. The nearest stoplight is 30 miles away and we're surrounded by trees.
That sounds so heavenly. I've
It's
been
very peaceful. It's very
It's
peaceful.
very peaceful.
There's really nothing that he doesn't do except for be the face of our brand and handle the money and all the clients.
Yes.
But everything else, like he manages the ranch, the vehicles, the kids, the food, me,
Firewood,
firewood, the dogs, the
the chickens,
chickens. He's on the volunteer fire department. So if I need anything, like we figured out, we did a work personality test a number of years ago, and we figured out that I should never lift anything again. I mean, not that I don't because I have to keep my strength up, but he's like the hands, right? The
I do
hands.
I do the rocks, the logs, the dirty, and the heavy thing.
And I talk and make money.
Yeah, she talks and makes money. And it's interesting too, because inside of our partnership, we're both very different. Jennifer is a saver, I'm a spender.
Okay.
And I know in a lot of relationships that can cause problems. With us, it doesn't because I tend to spend money, yes, but I tend to go out and do things with her more than she would do by herself. Like we went dancing the other night.
Oh,
We
God.
went a heavy metal band that I'd never seen before.
Yeah, he went in his cowboy boots because he's a cowboy, and we went to the heavy metal band. I'm like, this is going to be
Yeah,
interesting.
and they had a mosh pit. I hadn't been in a mosh pit in years.
Yes.
And Jennifer, I didn't even know Jennifer had ever knew what a mosh pit was, and she did, and we just had a ball.
He didn't know I owned 5-inch patent leather stomping boots and silver pants either.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
gosh, that sounds like a ball.
so yeah, we both bring very different perspectives. I don't want her to be like me, and she doesn't want me to be like her. And we both complement each other beautifully.
That's why it's working, isn't it? You're not judging each other's personality or roles. You're just
Try not to.
Oh,
trying.
we still do occasionally, and when it does, we rub and we get angry with each other, but we're more dedicated to what we created as a couple than we are to our own little egos and what we think things need to be.
Oh gosh, I wish I could plant that mindset in all the clients that I work with.
I think something really important happens when you actually commit. Like, so the first time I was married, and also Peter too, I think,
Hmm.
I was married, but I wasn't fully committed, which is ironic, right? But I think it's part of our human nature because if you really fully commit, you could really fully get hurt, right?
Yes.
Like if you really, really, really commit. And so I didn't know that I was not all the way committed until I ended up divorced. And one of the things that um, we transformed for ourselves and also in our relationship was the like getting over the fear of actually fully committing and when I think when you finally get who that person really is, like if you take the time to let down your walls, to let go of the fear, and or maybe you just experience the fear because the fear of loss is, I mean, it can take you out of the knees. Um, I just remember one day having this conversation where I realized that we're in this together, and if the boat sinks, we're both going to sink.
Oh God.
And that's how we run our whole life. Like I'm not doing this without him.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, there's no separate bank accounts, there's no separate anything. Yeah, everything that we have is a we.
well, all the things that I have are mine and all the things that he has are mine too. So it just works. But really I mean, I do a lot of things and make a lot of decisions, because we run a 7-figure company, but I wouldn't do any, like I'm continuously consulting with him and talking to him and like, what do you think? Because I actually, like, we actually respect each other.
What a concept.
Yeah, we actually like each other too.
Usually,
Usually.
we
Uh,
always respect each other. And
Yes.
Peter says, respect is earned. You
yeah.
know, respect's not given, it's earned. And if you respect yourself, you command respect, So, and of course, we're very generous with each other because we're both people and fallible and all that stuff. But it is like, I really respect him, even if I'm not in agreement.
Yeah, she's always looking for what she can say, how she can be to bring out the better me,
What a
which
gift to both of you. Such a gift. I grew up thinking love and commitment were all that were needed for a healthy marriage, but love and commitment without respect gets eroded away. It
Mhm.
disappears. So I call respect the fertilizer that feeds love.
Yes.
How awesome. I know you've developed together, you've developed quite a large profitable company. How do you raise your children to respect the wealth that you can enjoy without becoming entitled children.
Well, when we created who we are together, uh, which is we call it empowering partnership because we're here to empower each other, we included the children. We enrolled them in it. They love being a part of it. Whenever we have an event or mom and dad are gone for 3, 4, 5 days, we have a babysitter. The kids know that we're off making a difference for people, and them being with the babysitter is making a difference for us, and that they're being taken care of. So they know they're part of the whole game plan that we have of who we are, who are being. And yeah, it's interesting because our children, I don't know if they're really all that, they don't feel like wealth or
Maybe they're entitled that we can't tell.
I can't tell.
They're not bratty. They're very
No, they're
they're
fantastic.
fantastic.
We really like our children.
We spend a lot of time talking to them and sharing things with them. We talk about our business in front of them. So I think, I mean, for my oldest son, who's 22 now, or 23, he just turned 23, when he was younger, my financial, well, I didn't have as much money, but I've always felt like I've had money, even though I didn't have that much, relatively speaking. And we still don't feel like we have a lot, but it's all relative, right?
Yes.
And I think that um, there's, I think it's a two-pronged thing. One is I think you cannot help but passing on your own beliefs around money to your kids. I've never said to my son, I can't afford it, but he still picked it up for me because it was some of the thinking that I had, which I've been trying to eradicate for, the last 30 years. Because it's not true, right? It's a choice. It's always a choice. So he grew up with this really strong work ethic. But now our 13-year-old who's grown up with us in the business, we have a lot more means. He goes to a private online school now, which is really pushing him to be the best human he can be. Um, but he doesn't seem, I don't know, he's not entitled. It's because he has to do, like, he still has to do his chores. He has to do his part on Team D. And if that means you scrub the toilet, you scrub the toilet.
Or you
Like,
chop firewood, or you go take care of chickens, or whatever it is. He's out there. You muck stalls. He's out there doing it.
So your children share in the responsibilities of the wonderful place where you live that requires a lot of work.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I
my 10-year old already drives our tractor. He's already driving. We bought a car for up here on the mountain. I call it my little mule because it's just an old beat up car that we use because we live on dirt roads.
yeah,
And he's already, knows how to drive that. So,
yeah, and I think part of it too is, um, when he was younger, actually, he decided he wanted to make money for the summer, and he went around our dirt road loop and went to the different houses asking people if he could wash their cars. And so he got to experience that. And I'm sure as he gets older and he like gets his first job, which, he'll experience that too. And this summer I gave him a project. When I think about money, I think about not handing him things, but teaching him how to think about it. And so, like, we had a project this summer where he had to take some of my old clothes and put them online to sell, like, on one of those resale sites. And I'm like, and I said, I want you to learn how to do this. I want you to take initiative. I want you to understand how to do the research, how to price the things. And he did. He really, like, I did almost nothing. And I said to him, I'll give you 60% of what you sell. And I said, and it's not about you making the money. Of course, it's going to be nice to have the money, but it's it's also about you understanding how these things work,
yeah,
right? And when you master this project, I'm going to give you the next project because, and you see it all the time with people giving money to their kids
yeah,
that, they can't handle it, right? They don't know how to hold it. And so I think the transference of ideas and thinking is like the core, and then the rest, like, either I'll give him the money or I won't give him the money, but in the end he's going to understand and have the core mindsets and thinking that create prosperity and generosity and wealth and respect. So we're always looking for fun ways and interesting ways to do that for them. And yeah, and sometimes I hand him $40 and he just gets to go have fun with his kids, with his friends. You know what I mean? So I think it's more about the transference of the beliefs.
What you're doing is training entrepreneurship, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yes, and we actively think of it that way.
Yes. I had the privilege of meeting, is it Tommy that was at the
Yeah.
retreat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so impressed with him. When I got up to do my speech at the retreat and was so nervous, he was in the back row behind the rest of us. And he was actively, attentively listening to me and nodding his head. And I commented to him about it later and told him how much that meant to me. But how old is Tommy?
13.
He's 13.
I mean, he's already has the capacity for what I would call empathy, and was just very interested in what I had to say. And then later at dinner, he sat across the table from me and we continued our conversation. Very involved, asked great questions, was really gave me the impression that he was very interested in my life and what I've learned and what I bring to the table. Anyway, I was very, very impressed with him. If he's an example of the kind of young men that are coming out of your partnership, I think you must be doing an awesome job.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. He is awesome.
Yeah, he's turning into a fine young man.
Yeah, I mean, he's like smarter than the both of us combined. He's got like all the best of both of our traits and a few of his bad ones.
Yeah, he does.
But he's his own person, and just really an awesome human. So we're doing everything that we can to have our own limiting beliefs not get in his way, which I think as a parent is sort of where I'm looking is like I have my own limitations, but if I can like do something to not pass those on to my kids.
We're also actively teaching him to be unstoppable, to not get held up by thoughts and beliefs or any of that, that he can do anything he wants in this world. I think that's the best thing a parent can bestow upon their child is
Oh,
that you are capable of anything. Get out there and go for it.
so you're teaching him how to be in control of his own mindset.
Oh, yes.
Gosh, what an awesome lesson. What would the world be like if every parent were teaching that skill to their children or modeling that skill for their children? Tell me what's on your agenda next, as far as the business or the family or the marriage or the parenting, whatever category you'd like to address.
Okay, you want to talk? What do you want to talk about?
Oh, we've got so many. Tell them
Okay.
about our next event.
Okay, so we have an event coming up, which we've been doing events. We're in the coaching and seminar space, and we've been doing events for 11 years, and we've been in a really great place in the business for the last 4 or 5 years. But I felt like it was time to grow again, and like I was kind of holding myself back from growing because frankly, I was just afraid that if I tried to grow, I would lose it all. One of those irrational fears, right? But then I was like, oh wait, that's crazy. So we've created this event. It's called $1 Million Offers. And so the next stop on our growth plan is to create a $10 million business. And we're just going for it. We're going for it. And so one of the things that's transpired for us as we've been planning this event is I think anytime you want to go to that next level in business or in relationship, I think that there's like an identity shift that has to happen first.
Yes.
Right? Like if you want to have a great relationship, you have to think of yourself as someone who can create a great relationship and who's in the driver's seat of creating a great relationship, right? And
Because
I
you are.
because you are in the like you can't have a great relationship if you're a crappy person to be in a relationship,
Right.
right? So in the process of this, we've both been going through an identity shift as we step into that next iteration of ourselves. And
Mhm.
so all kinds of things have been shifting in our physical space, because I think when you see a future and the more you walk towards it, the more it like reaches back and says like what was okay at this level is just not going to work at that level. So what's happened since then, Pete?
Since then,
Yeah, since we decided that we had this identity shift. We're in the process of it. Like we're not done yet.
we went dancing. We bought you a beautiful diamond
Oh
ring,
yeah, we went out shopping the other night and I was like, I want one of those. And we just bought it.
something she would never do. She would, spend 3 or 4 months looking at them and deciding what she wanted.
I never had one.
And we went out and it's the perfect ring,
So
as the universe would hand
okay,
it.
but he's lost like 20 pounds.
Yes.
We remade our downstairs into a home gym. So like we got rid of all the stuff down there and then we've been buying like gym equipment and
We're eating a lot healthier.
oh yeah, eating way healthier. You just upgrading our physical space too, because it's really hard to have clarity and calm in a messy space. And we were like, do we buy a pool table and a ping pong table for the downstairs or do we go with the home gym? We're like, well, which one of these environments is going to create a better outcome? There you go.
Yeah. And as for Tommy, he has stated that he wants to put rovers on other planets, like remote control rovers. So for him, we're constantly looking at what schools can we get him into? What schools are you interested in? What programs do we need to do to have that happen? He actually got himself into a program where he had 4 NASA engineers all to himself and was asking questions. He won some awards, so we went to San Diego and we talked with these NASA engineers and what's required to get into NASA and everything else. So we're encouraging him as much as we can to follow what he wants to do, his dreams.
So you're not only supporting yourselves personally in up leveling to the people that can run a $10 million, was it 10 million?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what we're playing for now.
that's our next milestone.
Who knows after that,
Oh,
right?
I do.
Well, you have to become the leaders of a $10 million business inside yourselves
Yes,
before you can manifest that level of growth. And you're supporting your children in their dreams as well.
yes.
I am so excited about what you are doing. And tell me, I know that you were ready for the next level of growth, you said. What else motivates you to put in the personal growth to make that dream a reality?
Well, there's a couple things. One, I feel like I can't not like I think one of the gifts of I was in corporate sales for a long time, and when I left that career, it was not because I had a very clear path. Instead, it was literally because I had this vision, or it wasn't even a vision. It was more like just a bubbly up feeling of like I'm supposed to be doing something else. And so it was a scary time. I left my six-figure career. Peter was a stay-at-home dad at the time. We lived in Southern California. We still had the six-figure bills. But there was something like that was calling me. And I think that now where we're at, 11 years into this company, that, to have the gift of having the business, like the mission of the business and my personal fulfillment being in the same vehicle
Mhm.
is it's like a gift. It's truly a gift because I spend the majority of my time working, but I'm not really working. It's my creative space. It's my place where I feel like when I see my clients and the success that they're having, it makes it all worth it, even though it's not necessarily easy. And it challenges me every day to be a better, bigger person. But I wouldn't give it up for anything because I know that if like peace and harmony, it happens one person at a time. So for me, it's like who's the next one life that I can just support in having a better life, and then we've tied it into our monetary rewards. So it's like everything is pulling in the same direction.
Are there times when you lose that creative edge and have to search for it again?
Yes,
Okay.
there is. And that's just a time. It's really interesting because when we're not what I call in the groove and we're outside, it's rough for the two of us because we're beside ourselves. We're not being who we said we would be and who we want to be. And yeah, there's kind of like a tension, but we always come back together and go, this isn't what we're here for. This is not how I want to live my life. And she'll say that too. This isn't how I want to live my life. What do you want to do? And we'll talk it all through instead. This is where we went off, and we bring it all back together again and just I always akin it to like a two-seat bicycle. We're both pedaling along, just pedaling along. Everything's going great. And then one of us throws ourselves off the bike and lays in the curb and goes, I don't want to. Right? And the other one just stops the bike and looks down at him and goes, all right, go ahead. All right, are you done? All right, get back on the bike. Let's go.
Okay. So you're an encouragement to each other to stay in that groove that is liberating for you, inspiring for you.
Yes.
Okay. I understand you brought something that is being offered to the attendees of this summit. Do you want to share what that is?
Yes, I would love to. Um, what I have is, I'm just making sure that this link works for you. What we created is I have an ebook that you can read, which is really like this is really, I think if you're in business and you want to be able to raise your rates, like maybe you work for yourself or you have created some kind of educational program or maybe you do online trainings. So I've created an ebook called Nine Key Secrets to Increase Your Fees and Magnetically Attract Top Dollar Clients who want to hire you before ever meeting you. And it's really like the nine secrets to how we built our business and being able to sell higher level offers. Because I think one of the things that's important if you're in business, that you're able to bring in big chunks of cash and help people at the same time while you're doing it. And so we have the high ticket selling book that you can download and read. It's a short read, but it's got great steps for like how do you have a conversation with somebody so they say yes and they pay you, and a number of other resources.
Okay, that free download is available on the dashboard for those who are attending the summit. I'm going to download it myself and consider a review of all the things I've learned from you already. As a personal testimony, I doubled my coaching fees, which was pretty magnificent for my business and my self-esteem. So thank you so much. I deeply appreciate your willingness to meet with me today and let me record this interview because you were unable to be present during the summit. So this way I was able to have you as a guest anyway. Thank you so very, very much. I'm going to stop the recording now.
You are so welcome.